It was still dark when the knocking started. Lucy Reed woke up with her heart beating too fast and her room still blue with early morning shadows. Her digital clock said 5:02 a.m. Nobody respectable knocked at 5 a.m. She pushed her feet into slippers, pulled on a sweatshirt, and walked to the front door of her small, quiet house. When she opened it, her next-door neighbor, Evan Brooks, stood on the porch. He was usually the kind of man who waved, said morning, and went back inside. Today his face was pale and his eyes kept moving like he was checking for danger. His voice was low and urgent. "Lucy, don't go to work today," he said. "Stay inside." "I mean it." Lucy held the door with one hand and stared at him. "What?" "Evan, what are you talking about?" "It's 5 in the morning." He shook his head once, sharp. "I can't explain right now. But you can't leave. Not today. Promise me." Lucy looked at him properly then. Evan had lived next door for a year. He was quiet, polite, never had visitors, never made noise. He was not the kind of man who looked frightened. But right now he looked like someone who had seen the future and didn't like it. "You're scaring me," she said, keeping her voice low so the neighbors wouldn't hear. "Did something happen?" Evan swallowed, his jaw tight. "Something is going to happen," he corrected. "If you go to work, you will walk right into it. Stay home, lock your doors, don't open for anyone unless it's me." She frowned. "Evan, that doesn't make sense." He leaned closer, almost whispering. "You'll understand by noon." Then, like he was worried someone was watching them, he backed away from her porch and walked quickly to his own house without another word. He didn't look back. Lucy stood at the door in her sweatshirt and slippers, the cold air touching her face, feeling like the morning had split in half. Normally, Lucy was practical. She was 33, worked as an analyst at Brighton Finance, and liked her life neat, same route to work, same coffee, same seat in the office. She didn't do drama. But this didn't feel like drama. It felt like a warning. And she already had reasons to listen. 3 months earlier, her father, Daniel Reed, had died suddenly. The hospital called it a stroke. But 2 days before he died, he had told her, "Lucy, there's something about our family I need to show you. It can't wait much longer." He never got to show her. After he died, strange things started happening. A black car with tinted windows sat near her street more than once. Her phone got silent calls. Her sister Mia, who was abroad, called and said, "Lou, have you noticed anyone new on your street? Just be careful." Nobody said, "Someone is watching you," but Lucy felt it. So when Evan said don't go, the part of her that listened to patterns said, "Stay home." She texted her manager, "Personal emergency. Won't be in today." Then she closed all the blinds halfway, made coffee she didn't drink, and waited. The house felt too loud. The fridge hummed, the wall clock ticked, the wind knocked a branch somewhere, and everything made her jump. She kept checking the window to see if Evan would come back and explain. He didn't. At 10 a.m., she told herself she was being silly. At 11 a.m., she told herself she would laugh about this later. At 11:30 a.m., she started to think she should have gone to work after all. Then her phone rang. Unknown number. She almost let it go to voicemail, but something told her to pick up. "Hello," she said. A calm male voice answered. "Good morning. Is this Ms. Lucy Reed? This is Officer Taylor with the County Police Department. We're calling regarding a critical incident at your workplace this morning." Lucy sat down slowly. "What incident?" The officer paused like he was choosing his words. "There was a violent attack at the Brighton Finance building," he said. "Several employees were injured. We have reason to believe you were present." Lucy blinked. "No," she said, standing now. "I wasn't there. I'm at home." The officer's voice stayed calm, but his words turned heavier. Your car was recorded entering the garage at 8:02 a.m. Your ID badge was used to enter the building. Witnesses reported seeing you on the 3rd floor. You were listed as unaccounted for after the incident." Lucy's hand shook. Someone was pretending to be her. Someone wanted the police to think she had been there. "That's impossible," she said. "I've been home all morning." The officer asked, "Can anyone verify that?" Lucy looked around at her quiet, empty living room. "No," she whispered. "I live alone." "Ms. Reed," the officer said, and now his tone was formal. "Items belonging to you were recovered near the scene. We need to confirm your safety and speak with you." Units will be arriving at your address shortly. Do not leave the premises. He hung up. Lucy stood in the middle of her living room, phone in her hand, heart thudding. Someone had used her car. Someone had used her ID. Someone wanted there to be proof she had been inside that building when the attack happened. If she had gone to work like normal, she would have walked right into it. Evan had known. How? She moved to the window and peeked through the blinds. The street still looked normal. A dog walker. A trash truck further down. But none of it felt normal now. If the police were on their way, were they coming to protect her, or to arrest her? There was a knock on her door. Not loud, not desperate. 3 steady knocks. Lucy froze. Then a voice. Lucy, it's Evan. Open the door. We need to talk. She didn't open it right away. How did you know the police would call me? She asked through the door. Because they are not coming to help you, Evan said quietly. They are coming to collect you. To put you under federal custody. You were never supposed to be in your house this morning. Lucy's throat went dry. What are you talking about? He lowered his voice. They staged the incident at your office. You were supposed to be there, not to die, but to be blamed. Someone went in as you. Someone used your ID. Now they need you to confess. If they take you today, Lucy, you disappear. Lucy's hand trembled on the door handle. She had a choice. Trust the quiet neighbor who had warned her, or open the door to the people who already believed a fake version of her day. She unlocked the door. Evan stepped in fast and shut it behind him. Up close, Lucy could see he was scared, but not panicking. He was working a plan. He went straight to the window and looked outside like he knew exactly how long they had. We don't have much time, he said. They'll mark this place as a crime scene and take you in as a suspect or missing witness. Either way, you won't come back out. Lucy folded her arms. You keep saying they. Who are they, Evan? And how do you know any of this? Evan looked at her then, really looked like he had been waiting a year to say the next sentence. I didn't move here by accident, he said. Your father asked me to keep an eye on you. It hit her like she'd been pushed. My dad, she whispered. No, my dad was an accountant. He wasn't, whatever this is. Evan shook his head. That was his cover. He was in a federal investigation for years. He found something he shouldn't have. And because of that, you were marked. Lucy stared at him, mind racing through every half-finished sentence her father had ever said. He tried to tell me something before he died, she murmured. He said it was about our family. Evan nodded. He knew this day would come. He slipped a hand into his jacket and pulled out a small black envelope. He left this for you. Told me to give it to you if they ever tried to recover you. Recover me? Lucy repeated, her voice breaking on the last word. She took the envelope with shaking hands and opened it. Inside was a folded note in her father's handwriting, strong, neat, familiar. She read, Lucy, if you are reading this, then the danger I warned you about has begun. You are not in trouble because of something you did. You are in danger because of who you are. Do not surrender yourself. Trust the man I sent. He knows the rest. Dad. Lucy pressed her lips together so she wouldn't cry. Her father had known. He had tried to protect her even after his death. Evan watched her finish the note. Your father discovered a program he wasn't supposed to know about, he said. A program that built false identities around real people. People with special markers. You were one of them. He pulled you out when you were a child, but they never erased you from their system. You were always on a list. Today was the day they chose to pull you back in, and the attack at your office was the story they were going to use. Lucy shook her head slowly. No. That sounds like a movie. Evan's eyes were steady. Then explain this. Someone cloned your badge, someone used your car, someone put your things by a crime scene, and the police are on the way to a house you were not supposed to be in. That's not random, Lucy. That's a plan. Outside, faint sirens began to drift closer. Evan looked toward the window. We leave now, he said. Your dad didn't die for you to walk into their hands. Lucy folded the letter, slipped it into her pocket, and nodded. For the first time that morning, she believed him. And somewhere inside her, a quiet fear turned into something sharper, purpose. They moved fast. Evan opened the back door and peered out first, measuring how close the sirens were. 2 dark SUVs were turning into the street, not rushing with lights, but gliding like they already owned the road. They cut the siren, Evan muttered. That means they think you're inside. He grabbed Lucy's arm. Not rough, just certain. We go out the back. Lucy locked the front door out of habit, though it wouldn't slow anyone with a badge. They slipped through the kitchen, out the back porch, and across the narrow strip of lawn to the gate that led to the alley. Evan's black SUV was already parked there. You had this ready? Lucy whispered. I always have it ready, he said. As soon as she was inside, he started the engine. In the side mirror, Lucy saw two men step out of one of the dark vehicles in front of her house. They weren't looking around like cops. They were scanning, like people looking for an object. One of them lifted a radio to his mouth. They are not here, Lucy said, her voice shaking. They will be, Evan said, and pulled out of the alley. They hit the main road and Evan merged into traffic like a normal commuter, not like someone running from a grab team. That calmed Lucy a little. She turned in her seat. Evan, tell me everything. No more pieces. He kept his eyes on the road. Your father was assigned to financial auditing for federal contracts, at least that's what everyone thought. While doing that, he found money going to a private biomedical project that didn't match the official research descriptions. He dug deeper and found medical records tied to children. Infants, actually. One of those files was yours. Lucy stared. Mine? Yes, Evan said. Your blood work showed markers they were looking for. Your dad realized someone outside your family had access to your medical records and even to your samples. He reported it. Instead of shutting it down, the people in charge covered it up. From that moment, your father knew someone would come for you one day. That's when he contacted me. Lucy swallowed. So all this time, he wasn't being dramatic. No, Evan said quietly. He was buying you time. Lucy looked out the window at the passing buildings, her chest tight. But why today? Why make it look like I was at work? Evan reached into his jacket, pulled out a slim tablet, and tapped it on. Because yesterday morning, your name pinged their system again, he said. You went for a routine blood test last month, remember? Lucy frowned. Yeah. Company health check. Everyone did it. That data was shared, Evan said. It showed the same markers you had as a child, only stronger, more stable. That told them you survived. So they planned something that would let them collect you without questions. A violent incident with you missing is the perfect story. They could say they rescued you. They could say you were involved. Either way, you vanish. He handed her the tablet. On the screen was a file with her name. Read, Lucy, subject 9A, priority. Her picture. Her date of birth. Notes she didn't understand. Immune profile. Regenerative potential. Candidate for phase 2. Lucy's voice was small. I'm not special. Evan glanced at her. You are exactly what they were trying to build. That's why they won't stop. Traffic thinned as they left town and headed toward a quieter highway. The city buildings gave way to trees and open ground. Lucy scrolled the file again. What is phase 2? She asked. Testing in live environments, Evan said. Integration. Ownership. Turning what you are into something they control. Lucy felt anger push through her fear. So I was what? Property to them. Asset. Evan corrected. Their word, not mine. He breathed out slowly. Your father refused to let them take you. He leaked proof of the project to an oversight board. They started asking questions. The people running the program solved the problem by erasing the investigation, and the people who knew. Lucy closed her eyes. So he was killed. He was poisoned, Evan said, not softening it. They made it look natural. He knew it was coming. That's why he moved near you earlier than we planned. That's why he left the note. He wanted you to know this wasn't your fault. Lucy wiped her face with her sleeve. Mia is overseas, she said. Is she safe? For now, Evan said. They are focused on you. You're the one whose files got triggered. Okay, Lucy said, trying to breathe evenly. Say I believe everything, which I do now. What's the point of running? If they have police, fake cars, my work ID, they can just say I'm guilty. Evan nodded. Exactly. That's why we're not just running. We're going to get something your father hid before he died. Something they really don't want public. Lucy's eyes narrowed. Proof. Better than proof, Evan said. Names. Money trails. Orders. Every piece your father copied before they reached him. He stored it in a secure vault off the grid. He told me to bring you there if the program ever tried to retrieve you. Lucy stared at him. And how does this vault open? Evan gave a small, humorless smile. With you. It's keyed to your father's bloodline. To you or your sister. You're here. So it's you. Lucy looked back at the road ahead. Trees were thicker now, the sky dull with clouds. So that's why they need me to disappear, she said slowly. If I vanish, they can say my father was lying. And they can take over everything he found. Now you're thinking like them, Evan said. That's good. You'll need that. They drove in silence for a while, the hum of the engine filling the car. Then Lucy asked the question that had been burning in her chest. What am I, Evan? That file said I had something not found in ordinary humans. That sounds insane. Evan kept his hands steady on the wheel. 20 years ago, he said, a private government group started experimenting with biogenetics. Not to heal people, but to build people. People who could resist viruses, chemical agents, maybe even certain injuries. Your blood tests as a child showed a natural version of what they were trying to create artificially. That made you rare. Too rare to let go. Lucy shook her head. So they didn't make me. No, Evan said. That's the part they hate. You were born like this. Your father always said, they didn't make my daughter. God did. That's why he fought them. Because they wanted to claim you. If they present you to the world as dangerous, as responsible for an attack, no one will question why you're locked away forever. Lucy's jaw tightened. So they don't just want my body. They want the story about me. Exactly, Evan said. Control the story, control the person. A faint helicopter sound reached them from far behind. Evan checked the rearview mirror, then took the next exit, not to a town but to a narrow service road that cut through thick trees. We're close, he said. They'll find us eventually, but if we get inside first, you get to choose what happens next. Choose what? Lucy asked. Whether the truth stays buried, or goes everywhere, Evan said. Your dad set it up that way. He didn't want anyone, not even me, to decide for you. Lucy let out a shaky laugh. That sounds like him, she said. Always telling me, make your own decision, Lou. Evan smiled briefly. He was proud of you. Even when he had to lie to protect you. They bumped along the road until it narrowed into a path. In front of them, half hidden by overgrown brush, was what looked like an old maintenance bunker. Concrete, low, forgotten. If Lucy hadn't known what they were looking for, she would have thought it was nothing. That's it, she asked. That's it, Evan said. Ugly on purpose. He parked beside the trees and turned off the engine. The forest was quiet, but in the distance Lucy could still hear the helicopter getting closer. They tracked the car, she said. Most likely, Evan agreed. But this place is shielded. Once we're in, they can't see what we do. They'll only know we were here. He got out, came around to her side, and opened her door. Lucy, he said, softer now, what we're about to open, it's not just files. It's your father's last message. He wanted you to know exactly why he chose to die a normal man instead of giving you up. That made her throat tighten. Then let's go, she said. They hurried to the bunker door. Up close, Lucy saw a small circular symbol carved into the metal. She recognized it. Her father had once shown her that symbol in an old notebook and said, family history. Now she knew it was code. Evan tapped a keypad, then stepped aside. It needs you, he said. Hand. Lucy put her palm on the cold panel. A thin blue light scanned her skin. There was a heavy click. The door opened with a deep metallic groan, like the building was waking up. Cold air drifted out, smelling like paper and steel. Inside, a narrow corridor led downward. Lights flickered on as they walked. He built all this? Lucy asked, amazed. He arranged it, Evan said. He had help from people who believed him before they were silenced. This was the only place they couldn't reach. As they walked deeper, Lucy felt a strange mix of fear and recognition, like her body knew she was walking toward the center of everything. She thought about the officer on the phone, so calm, already convinced she had been at the scene. She thought about the men who had stepped out of the dark car like they were picking something up. She thought about the car with tinted windows that used to sit on her street. All of it pointed to this. They never meant for her to wake up at home today. They meant for her to be missing. Dead. Or rescued. Evan slowed as they reached a round room with a thick vault door at the end. On the vault was the same symbol, brighter now. "This is it," Evan said quietly. "Behind this is your father's journal, the files, and the failsafe he left for you. Once we open it, you'll see every name, every order, every transfer that kept this program alive. You'll also see what they plan for you next." Lucy looked at the vault, at the symbol of a family she thought was just ordinary. She wasn't shaking anymore. She was angry. "They killed my father," she said. "They tried to rewrite my day. They wanted to own me." Evan nodded. "Then make it cost them." He gestured to the panel beside the vault. "Same as before. It only opens for you." Lucy stepped forward, placed her hand on the scanner, and felt the machine read her. The vault locks began to turn, slow and heavy. Somewhere above them, faint and angry, helicopter blades beat the air. But down here, in the cold light, Lucy Reed was the one opening the door. And she was finally about to learn why she had been watched her whole life. The vault door rolled open with a slow, heavy sound and cold air rushed out. Inside was a circular room lined with metal shelves. Black boxes sat in neat rows, each with numbers and short codes. But in the center, on a glass stand, was one thing that didn't look official at all, a brown leather journal with worn edges. Lucy knew it was her father's before she even touched it. She moved toward it like it was the last piece of him left on earth. Evan stayed near the door, watching, listening for footsteps. Lucy lifted the glass cover and opened the journal to the page that was already marked. Her father's handwriting looked the same as it did on birthday cards. "Lucy," it said, "if you are here, it means they have moved. You are not in danger because you failed. You are in danger because you survived. They did not create what is in you. You were born with it. That is what scares them." Lucy swallowed hard. The next lines were instructions. There was a terminal at the far end of the room. 2 options. 1 to surrender to the program. 1 to release everything to the public. Her father had written, "I cannot choose for you. Owning the truth will make you their enemy. Hiding it will make you theirs." Lucy looked up at Evan. "He really left it to me," she said. "He trusted you," Evan replied. He said, "My daughter thinks for herself. Let her decide as a free person." Lucy let out a shaky breath, then walked to the back of the room. There was a small console there, built into the wall, with 2 softly glowing buttons under glass. One was labeled Acquisition Protocol. The other was labeled Revelation Protocol. "If I press the first," Lucy said, thinking aloud, "they get me, they get the files, and the world never knows. If I press the second, the whole story goes out, and I become the villain in their news reports." "Yes," Evan said. "But you also become the person who stopped them from doing it to anyone else." She stared at the 2 lights. She thought of her father, sitting at the kitchen table months ago, trying to tell her something before the poison took him. She thought of Mia overseas, trusting her to stay alive. She thought of the men outside her house who didn't knock like friends. Then she said, "I'm done hiding." She lifted the glass and pressed Revelation Protocol. The console hummed. A countdown appeared on the screen. 00:00:15. 00:00:14. Secure data streams lit up on the display, government servers, media outlets, encrypted watchdog groups. Her father had set the destinations before he died. All she had to do was push the button. "It's going," Evan said, watching the feeds start to upload. "You did it." From somewhere deeper in the facility, alarms began to blare, sharp and red. The bunker lights flashed. "They found the signal," Evan said. "They are here." Lucy didn't flinch. "Good," she said. "Let them come to a crime scene they can't bury." The data finished transmitting with a soft chime. On the screen, her father's files were gone. Dispatched. Names, companies, medical records, payment routes, orders to silence people. All of it was out in the world now. No one person could make it disappear. Not anymore. Lucy closed her father's journal and held it to her chest for half a second. "Thank you, Dad," she whispered. Then she turned to Evan. "Let's go." They ran back through the corridor as the alarms echoed. Above them, the thudding of helicopter blades was louder now, closer. Voices shouted over radios. Whoever had chased them from town was right above the hill. At the exit tunnel, Evan stopped her briefly and put a hand on her shoulder. "Listen," he said. "Once we step outside, they will call you a suspect. They will say you planned the attack. They will show video of you entering the building. They will not tell people that footage was faked.
Lucy nodded.
And they'll say you helped me, she said. They'll say I kidnapped you, Evan said with a faint smile.
I'm fine with that. Together they pushed open the outer door. Cold night air hit their faces. Searchlights cut through the trees. Men in dark gear were moving in formation toward the bunker. But something was different now.
Radios crackled with confusion.
Some of them had already received the leak. Some had just seen orders exposed with real signatures.
The lie was breaking while they were still trying to enforce it. They can't put it back in the box, Lucy said.
No, Evan agreed.
You broke it.
They moved along the tree line toward where Evan had hidden a second vehicle. Behind them, the bunker lights still flashed like a heartbeat.
Above them, the helicopters circled, unsure if they were chasing criminals or witnesses now that the documents were public.
Lucy climbed into the truck and looked back one last time.
A few hours ago, she had been a woman in a sweatshirt answering her door too early. Now she was the reason a secret program would have to answer to the world. She thought of her father's last lines, "You were not born to be controlled. You were born to reveal what control really is." She smiled, small but real. "They wanted me to disappear," she said to Evan. "Instead, I made them visible." Evan started the engine. "That's exactly what your father hoped you'd do." They drove off into the dark, not as a hunted woman and her strange neighbor, but as two people who had chosen truth over safety. Outside, newsrooms would soon light up, officials would scramble, and people would argue about what was real. But one fact would stay: Lucy Reed didn't let them write her story.
She wrote it herself.